Okay, what is going on with this card? What is actually going on with this card? So, we know that the Priestess comes after the Magus, so therefore she must, and she's feminine, right? So she must be receiving the Magus's force and emitting it down into creation, right? Because she is the path between the Sephiroth. So the path between severity and mercy, she is that which separates us from the world of spirit. Now, there are a lot of people who think that she's also that which separates the conscious mind from the unconscious mind. So she's this gateway type being. But she's also the ultimate virginal aspects of reality. So is goal here, if we want to achieve divinity or see divinity, to make our way to the feet of the Priestess and please her in some fashion? Is that what we're supposed to be doing? She has hidden knowledge. She's got a scroll. It's the Torah in that card, but the Priestess in the Fountain Tarot has a scroll as well. Now the Priestess in the Thoth Tarot, I don't see a scroll anywhere. Nope, no scroll. I'm used to learning my secrets from the Thoth Tarot. We're gonna look at M.M. Maline's Tabula Mundi to see if we get anything remarkable. She has a scroll. She is definitely between the pillars of mercy and severity. She's got pomegranates, just like the veil in the Rider-Waite-Smith version. Now she also has a musical staff right here, indicating that there is something vibratory about her. Perhaps she takes the Magus's vibration and emits it as refined sound, and then the frequencies which Pythagoras described as sort of the foundations of material reality and celestial reality begin to take shape because of the Priestess. But she represents the abyss. So is she that which makes the Magus's vibratory energy comprehensible? Or is she that which keeps us from being able to comprehend the Magus's vibratory force? Is the moon something that separates us from true knowledge of reality? David Icke thinks so. And I did too after I saw his little talk on the moon and Saturn and what Saturn's rings are. Anyway, this is a precursor because I feel like this card deserves a precursor. I have more questions than I do answers on the Priestess. So let's dive in. Welcome to As Above, So Below Tarot. Glad you could make it. So as a stage in the path to manifestation, the Priestess is the form given to the Magus's vibratory force. Now in this card, right here, the Thoth version, the force can be seen as a webbed veil, which she lifts and skillfully transmutes into something colorful and more refined, all the while maintaining its perfect symmetry. Now take note that she is behind the veil in this card. In the Priestess's lap here in the Thoth version is the bow of Artemis, who is the goddess of the hunt. Now upon closer examination, the bow is actually a harp which is attributed to Apollo, one of the most complicated and important deities in the Greek system. He is God of many things, but most important, at least to the priestess, is music. Now, as the refiner, the priestess uses the energy of vibration produced by the magus to give way to form. Music is an obvious choice in depicting vibratory form, and even Pythagoras believed that musical harmonies were a literal depiction of the natural and celestial order of things. And the priestess's veil, I believe, is this music, and it is that which actually separates us from the world of spirit. She is what separates us from the world of spirit. Present in the foreground of the Thoth version are symbols which represent seeds of life or form. Keep in mind these things sit just in front of the priestess's veil, meaning that these objects are an illusion maintained by her frequencies. The crystals represent the platonic solids, or building blocks of physical reality and life. And the flowers represent the force aspects of life and the form aspects of life. Now, underneath these two flowers are a cluster of grapes and a pine cone. And the pine cone here is, I think, where a big secret of the priestess lies. So, shamanistic and mystical experiences like those had with psychedelic substances such as DMT and psilocybin allow the user to pierce the veil and see into the realm of spirit. It is believed that the phenomenon is experienced through the third eye, or the pineal gland in the center of the human brain. Some spiritual traditions claim that the pineal gland serves as the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. The pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone. Many experts on tarot, especially Crowley, reflect heavily on this card as a singular pathway between our physical reality and the realm of spirit and light. In the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, the priestess is given the path between Tiferet and Keter, seen as the Son of God, or maybe the ultimate representation of humanity, and then God, respectively. Therefore, she is the first representation of the accessible immaterial in the major arcana. Now, you can see in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of this card, we have pomegranates, and we also have these in M. Emmeline's Tabula Mundi version. Pomegranates were the food that basically transported you to the underworld. So there's an implication in these two cards, strangely enough, as well as this card, that there are methods by which humanity can sort of pass through the priestess's path. So that path between severity and mercy. Also, severity and mercy represented here by curtains, of course. Now, present in each of these cards are also symbols of the moon. So we have the moon here, it's full moon. We have this headdress right here on the Thoth version and the Rider-Waite-Smith version is a moon. On either side of the full moon in these headdresses is the waxing and waning moon. Now underneath, of course, is a sort of layered moon imagery here, and then we have an upside down single crescent moon. And then, of course, the High Priestess in the tarot is a very moon-heavy card, as the throne she is sitting on is the moon. And then, of course, out her window, behind those curtains, also the moon. Now here in the Tabula Mundi version, instead of a harp, we see a musical staff sort of riding along the belly of the priestess. In each of these cards, save for one, we see them carrying scrolls, which represent hidden knowledge. And that's it. Those are the commonalities between these cards. Something that Crowley says is that the priestess is the ultimate virginal aspect of reality or spirituality. Now, what this means to me is that she is not necessarily receiving the Magus's vibratory force. She is enacting on it, which is the strangest thing. And maybe I'm wrong, but this is something that I continually question And if I don't get this video done, I don't think I'm going to make it to the Empress or any of the other major cards. But this is the most abstract thing. I mean, Crowley said that the Magus was impossible to comprehend. We have a lot of theories about what the moon is spiritually, physically even, which sort of contradict science. But the moon is a mystery. The moon is the opposite of the sun in esoteric systems. It's still divine, but it's the opposite of the sun. It's that which covers or hides information. What is it that separates us from the world of spirit and the mundane reality that we experience here? You could say it's psychedelic substances like DMT. I mean, DMT is fine if you want 5 minutes of not necessarily knowing what's going on from a conscious perspective, but then your whole life changing afterwards anyway. To delve more into the intuition aspects attributed to this card, intuition is defined as the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. So it's almost like an automatic download. Intuitive understanding could be a result of information gathered via the subconscious or unconscious mind, which brings us to an important distinction between the Magus and the Priestess. The Magus's information is straightforward, active, and obvious to the receiver, while the Priestess's information, again, is perceived unconsciously or passively. Now, going back to the Kabbalistic attribution of the Priestess as the connection between Tiferet and Keter, the information she provides us could be understood to have divine authorship and a much more unfiltered quality. Her path bypasses the pillars of severity and mercy as represented in these versions of the cards, and therefore is not muddled or confused by the force or form, passive or active aspects of reality and consciousness. That is to say, the information provided to us through intuition is clean, honest, and truthful. Now, intuition is supposedly that which bridges the gap between the conscious and unconscious aspects of our minds. So that's our segment on the Priestess. Again, I feel like this card is more of a mystery than anything else. I hope this was helpful. It was for me because I got to talk a lot about the Priestess, and I feel like talking is one of the highest forms of thinking. And I feel like when it comes to this card, I have maybe a clumsy grasp on it at best. I did a nice little write-up. I showed you the cards that I tend to think about when I think about the Priestess. But if you have something for me, give it to me. Not that it's your responsibility to. There's something about reality that I don't think we've cracked the code on just yet. I think a lot of religious and esoteric and spiritual systems are doing their best. We'll talk about those a little bit more when we get to the Hierophant. But man, this Priestess she is more questions than anything else for me. All right, thank you for watching. I sincerely appreciate you. This has been As Above, So Below Tarot. Peace out.